Hey guys, my name is Brandon and welcome to or welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you like what you see in here, you're more than welcome to hit the subscribe button so you stay notified every time I upload a new video. Okay, let's get straight on with today's video. Hello and welcome to the Sharing Thoughts podcast. My name is Brandon, I am your host as per usual, and this is my first collaborative podcast with the microphone turned on. So, in today's podcast, I am going to be speaking with a lady called Naomi Duben. She is currently a dancer and artist from Los Angeles in America. I stumbled across her profile because she drew the American superstar James Charles from YouTube. Hey sister. And she pretty much got 15 minutes of fame where he shared it on social media, posted it to his Instagram account, and a lot of his fans actually went over to her Instagram account. So I just thought, why don't I get her on a podcast, see who she is behind the artwork, and just have a little quick conversation with her. Hello.
Hello.
How are you? Who am I speaking to?
With Naomi Duben in Los Angeles, California.
I have never been to America in my life.
I went to England for like 2 days because I have a friend that's there. We squeezed it in before going to France on like Christmas, and there was nothing open. So we like had rhubarb pie at home, and then I think had fish and chips somewhere, and then rode the boat that goes under the London Bridge.
Oh yeah.
Then left, and then I went on the Channel, and I thought I was going to see like an aquarium experience on the train, and it was dark with, I don't know if they had windows, I can't remember, but it wasn't what I expected.
Yeah,
So
it's not a very nice picture, the underground, is it?
my 24 hours in the UK.
You can make a YouTube video, 24 hours stuck in London.
Yeah, on Christmas. So
During Christmas, yeah.
They're like, come back when things are open, Boxing Day, and I was like, okay.
Well, I've been in London for 21 years, but I've moved up north to study, so it's just sort of like I'm just trying to get away from it for a little bit. But yeah, okay, that's a good little introduction. So Naomi, so I think the first question I was just going to ask was, what are some of your hobbies? Obviously, I don't know if I explained this already, but I obviously stumbled across your profile, and it was a lot of art and drawings and those sorts of things. Do you have any other hobbies as well?
I do. I'm a dancer.
Oh.
I'm a dancer. I'm a hip hop dancer. I guess I like hip hop, kind of a hip hop contemporary combination. So I picked it up. I think I knew that I always had liked performing, and then when I moved, I grew up in San Francisco. So when I moved to Los Angeles for my first job, then I found this whole entertainment industry culture, and then found, it wasn't just dance classes at the gym. It's like the dance, what is it? The dance industry, and people are in music videos, and they're like, auditioning, and that's their full-time job. And these are the people that are in these dance classes. And so I fell in love with it. And I also fell in love with how just fun and normal everyone is, and then realizing they're like immensely talented and all over TV. And so for these to be my peers and dance alongside them was really motivating to get better. And so over the last, I think, 10 years, I moved to LA in 2009.
Oh wow, been there for a while then.
Yeah, it became like it was a exercise outlet. I liked the physical part of it. I liked that it wasn't redundant, like just going to the gym regularly, and I liked that it was something I could get better at, and I felt good when I remember the choreography and it fit with the music, and then became an artist and a dance. And the funny thing was, the people when I go to the dance studio had no idea that I painted and did art, and then I would be doing an art show or being with my art friends, and they didn't know I danced. So I feel like a Renaissance woman, like a woman of.
I mean, to be fair, in terms of creative people, I think that's the thing. I think the point you said before about everyone being so friendly and so like nice, I think that's what creative people are. I think anyone that just sort of does music or media tends to be that slightly nicer person, just because they're surrounded by so many creative types of people. But I think in terms of the art show, how did that come about? Was it just like a private show, or was it a thing that happens every year in Los Angeles? Like, how did that come about?
It was a lot of it. I noticed is like self-motivation. I remember I studied international business and art in college because I was like, this is what I should do and this is what I want to do. And so after I graduated from college, I got my first job in LA and worked my regular full-time desk job life, and then being in Los Angeles and meeting these other people who do their passion full-time, then I had this dual life of working during the day and then going with these nighttime people with like and living staying up late and living that life with them in the entertainment industry. And then I lost the job. Then the job ended. And I found myself now in LA with people who go to brunch on a Wednesday at 11 o'clock, and like nobody works full time. I realized there's less people that work full time in LA because of the entertainment industry. So I now had friends that were available during the week and more time on my hands. I think I was getting unemployment, and so this magical opportunity to be able to be creative, have my rent taken care of, and then make my bucket list of the things that I didn't have time to do before. So the first thing on the list was, find out about an art show, make more art, and then where can I show it? So I went on Craigslist, which I guess is like the American version of, what is it? A community posting place of what's going on.
Yeah.
Town, yeah. And then there's downtown LA has this huge art walk that was cool. They were trying to gentrify the city and bring more people together and I think showcase the creative side of it. And so that was just starting out in, early 2010, 2009. And it was a hair salon that said yes. The first thing I thought was I don't have enough work to fill an entire hair salon. And so I called on friends that lived in the area, other artist friends, and then it was my first show. And a couple of challenges that came up from that was knowing how to price artwork. I think that was a good experience just to reveal my flaws around it. I had a friend film me as I went around and talked about the pieces, and looking at it now, each piece I talked about it way down. I was like, I bought this frame from Goodwill, and this is made from wrapping paper from Target. And it's like, not to say that stuff if you're trying to sell the work, first of all. And then second, being really uncomfortable with my price points and thinking too much about how much the other person probably could or couldn't afford, and then underselling myself. And so I think it was a good learning curve and opportunity to be able to get the pieces up on a wall and interacting with people that potentially wanted to buy it.
I mean, it sounds like it just sounds like a very interesting story. The fact that I'm not sure how you got into doing art, but that first experience of being able to put all that art in that salon and get all your friends to work together, and then knowing that it was definitely what you wanted to do. But I think in terms of what you said before about the actually what you just said about like sort of undermining yourself, like charging slightly less, I think that's exactly the same as me and a lot of other creative people just in general. Sort of, if you're a student or if you're young, it's sort of like you don't really, I don't really understand the prices or how much I should be charging for doing photography or whatever. And I think once you get out into the real world, then you sort of, I feel like people always just compare themselves. They go, oh, this person's charging this much per hour. Oh, actually, I should do slightly less because I'm not as professional. But it's sort of like at the same time, what you're doing is probably exactly the same standard as them, maybe not even better. But it's sort of like, it's just that thing of just putting yourself down. But I think stuff like that it's amazing. The fact that you just sort of, you knew art was what you wanted to do. You pretty much just went on as many sites as you could to just find out all the different shows that were available and then just chucked yourself into it.
I was going to say yes. And then someone does, from being persistent and like applying and sending stuff out. Somebody, I think if you don't let go of it, then somebody says yes.
Yeah, because I think
you don't have control of when.
Yeah, because I think that's the thing. I think if you're passionate about what you want to do, and that comes across when you're applying for jobs or when you're applying for,
oh my God, yes.
then people are more likely to accept you. If you sort of half-heartedly go, yeah, that'd be great, whatever, they're going to sort of decline you and go, right, this person is not interested. But like if you put your heart into it, then you're likely to get chosen for the job or the role or whatever you're applying for.
I mean, even talking yourself out of it, like being like, oh, I didn't get that one, so I'm not going to be able to get any, and then just stop trying.
And then it just goes round and round in circles.
Yeah, the opinion of the other person. It's like you could do that to yourself.
Exactly. Well, the next question I was going to ask, again, it's based on the artwork as well. We did speak about this very, very briefly. What, obviously, your work was sort of seen by James Charles. What was your first reaction, and what sort of, how did that affect you? Like, did you get any more people seeing your art, seeing your social media? Like, what happened?
So now with Instagram, another thing too with doing replicating people's artwork in chalk, I think I and now want to evolve to doing my own work. But up until this point, has been finding cool pieces online or whatever I see outside on the street that inspires me, and then using that for the next chalk piece. So now with Instagram especially, the world is super small, and I'm able to contact artists much easier. Or I think it's anybody, but I can, unless they're an A-list celebrity, but I can usually reach out to the person that made the artwork or the post that I like, and they'll respond. I can ask for permission to duplicate their piece, and then they say okay. So then that's become comfortable and familiar to know that I can have a relationship with these people who make artwork that I find online or anywhere. So James Charles, so knowing that, I'm like he's of social media celebrity, he's not totally unattainable, and so I'm sure when I finish the picture, then I'll add a tag shout out, and then maybe he'll probably see it and be like thank you. So that's all I was expecting. I also hadn't reached out before because it wasn't a painting that someone else had drawn. I mean, I guess he painted on his face, and I didn't make that correlation, but I didn't reach out before like I normally should do. So yeah. And so the part that I was surprised about, there was an expectation that maybe at the end when I was done with the piece and I posted it, I would tag him and then he would see it and say something, but I didn't expect everybody else to come along and help me do that. and I guess what it takes to have him see it, like I guess he is a level up higher in a celebrity ranking than a mural artist or someone who posts their own art and has a big following. And so yeah. So the number of tags that were required from like thousands of people to get his attention, and then to have him come look at it was really humbling. And that's the part that really like threw the rug from under me, was like everybody else that then like came from under my wings and under his wings that wanted to support him and me to bring us together.
I think that is the most powerful thing about social media. The fact that obviously all you did was create this fantastic piece of artwork, which I actually saw before he shared it. So I think I'm the number one fan. Forget about James here.
Yeah.
So I saw that before him. But I think that's the power of social media. The fact that he can just like something, he's going to have fans that will check what he's liked, check what he's shared, check his story. So once they see, oh my God, check out this that this person's done, or check out this that this person's done, they're going to go and check it. And although it might not turn you into like a superstar or whatever, like you said, you have your sort of 15 minutes of fame, and people will see that you're an artist, and they might ask you to draw them or paint them or do chalk versions of them. But it's just the fact that someone with such a big following, honestly, I know he's been in a lot of like scandals and stuff, but I still respect him. I watch all of his videos. The fact that he's younger than me and more successful than me, and he's just a very, very hardworking guy. I just think the fact that someone like him managed to reach out, it's sort of, I think it's just nice because it's the fact that it's of him as well. It's nice that he actually reached out himself. But yeah, I think in terms of now, I would just say, I don't know, I'd just say keep drawing, keep chalking, keep painting, do more, let him see more, and then he might add you to his James Charles team. You never know.
That was the joke. It's like, are you gonna draw him again? And I'm like, I don't know. Then do I become his like personal like art marketing person? Like,
I mean, there's nothing to say you couldn't. Yeah. But
he does have a lot of other great like portraits that would read well, that are colorful and read well in chalk on the street. And so part of me wants to, and then the other part of me wonders if that gets more political or like in business involved or something, like where that could go. And so I think either I have to think about it or get more opinions on like, or just draw it anyway. Just like
you can you could always draw it just for yourself, and then sort of like once you feel like you're ready to post it, or if he goes quite quiet, then you can just post something. It helps him out, helps you out, and then everyone's happy. But or
like it can be like an annual James Charles piece.
You can make a calendar, a James Charles calendar. You never know.
James Charles Day.
Yeah, James Charles Day, exactly. Just make your own day.
Maybe on his birthday, then do another one, and then post another one.
Oh yeah.
Happy birthday,
birthday cake. Yeah, I'm there's nothing saying you can't do that. I think you're more than I think you can definitely do that.
Mhm.
But
In the thing you mentioned about like it did like I noticed now there's like I've got a bump in my the people that are looking at my artwork and like have gone back and like liked the previous things, and it's so crazy to when I say it out loud I sound like it's like I'm defining my success based on the number of likes on Instagram, but it's a visual version of it to see who's watching and like
yeah,
who now how much the network has expanded in the
but
audience.
I
So
think in terms of like, I think that's the perfect thing is literally what you just said. It honestly, it doesn't like it doesn't really matter about the numbers, but the fact that they've gone up, it just shows that it's made an effect. Like I
yeah.
don't care about followers, I don't care about subscribers. I post the content that I post because I enjoy posting it. But
Mhm.
when I do see the views going up, or when I do see the engagement going up, it just makes me think actually I'm putting out stuff I want, and it's
Mhm.
getting the attention that I want it to get. So it's sort of a win-win. Um, I
And
think
I do
that's
like having a voice that impacts people. I like
yeah.
that part of it. Like I
Because
enjoy
you're
that part of it.
talking through your art, so it's not
Yeah.
it's like you're talking through your art, and it's sort of like people like me, and I'm sure you've had other people message and go, oh my god, I love the work and stuff. You're
Mhm.
getting found because you've got good work, you
Mhm.
found what you wanted to do, and other people are stumbling across it as well. um
Someone told me too. They said this was in a recent conversation. I think over just on Friday. They were like, "You never know who you're going to impact. It could be on a large scale, but even small, and so that makes the difference."
yeah, you could get
Focus on the work.
you could get 100 fangirls looking at your stuff, and then you could get one director of some massive art company that sees your stuff. He will be the person to change your life, not them. They'll get the attention and the media sort of flowing towards your work, but that one person can change your life.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why I would say I don't know if you see, but I'm the sort of person that sort of posts on social media like every single day, every single minute on every single platform possible. I'm doing it because I enjoy it, but it's sort of just like if the right person sees it, it
Mm-hmm.
could change my life.
You'll go from like 90 likes to 9,000,
Exactly. And yeah, you
which is
won't know
what
how it happens, but the right person will see the stuff.
because James Charles shared your post.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would love that. I've had a few like interesting people like
Yeah.
share my stuff and like my posts, but they haven't really done much for me. They probably got me a shout out, but that's pretty much all. Um, but I mean, in terms of
This girl asked me to. Like, I became her James Charles. She sent me a message and she's like, "Will you repost like my page?" And I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like, she's an admirable, or she's admiring my following, which is
yeah.
nothing. But so I guess like the grass is always greener on the other side. And I'm like, sure, no problem.
But yeah, the more people you share out, the more you're going to get shared back. That's how it works nowadays with all these teenagers and stuff. They just share for share, like for like, comment for
Yeah,
comment.
yeah.
But I mean, so with all that said and done, what are your plans in terms of now, like with your artwork and stuff? Do you is art like your full-time thing, or do you have like a 9 to 5 job and then art just as and when you have like ideas to paint or to do chalk with?
The funny thing that just happened was that I started a full-time job again, but it's really flexible. So this is the second flexible job that I've gotten, where it's full-time hours. But if I need to leave on a Friday to go do an art event, or if there's anything I can, there's really good work-life balance, and I can put any personal thing that I have first, and then get my day job work done. So that's been fantastic. I I want the day job to also reflect, not, I took Who Said Yes, and I'm glad that there's flexibility, and I ideally want that to be something that I also am passionate about. But I've noticed that with the regular income of a day job, that's opened up like I don't know, like there's a calmness, or like a relaxation. There's no desperation around the art, and
Yeah.
it really like eats me when I have to do art in order to make money to live, and like not know what's coming, and it didn't. I tried it a couple times and it just doesn't sit well with my makeup with and yeah, I get a little bit crazy, and I get jealous of people who are succeeding, and it's like this. I think it almost becomes a block to being creative. And I noticed the shift when I said yes to the day job and started working again, that more opportunities in art were opening up. This James Charles thing, like all that happened from working full time, because I can just create and not worry about the finances. And if I get money from the artwork, then it becomes like in addition to, or if I need to pay for a plane ticket to go out of state, like I can afford that and then do bigger events and expand my art career. So I think that part of me, the art career, will forever be there. It won't go away. That'll be something that I'll continue to do and take seriously. And I noticed until I get there, until maybe it takes off and it is making millions on its own, or is like independently self-sufficient, having a steady income alongside that.
I think that's the thing. I think because you've got your like 9-to-5 job, the art, like you said, it's just any extra money that comes in, you don't have to worry about. And actually any money that you get, like that you earn, that can go towards the art. So whether you want to buy new equipment, whether you want to buy new boards and that sort of thing. And like you said, if it goes viral, or if you end up being like, if that ends up being your full-time job, then that's brilliant, because that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
But I think it's just a matter of just keep creating. Like I know a lot of people have like social media days off and time away from being creative, which is fine, because everyone's allowed a bit of like a break. But I think if you want to achieve something, you've just got to just keep going and not stop. But I think in terms of some like sort of bringing this podcast to like a close, one final question: what advice would you give to someone in order to achieve their dream? So whether it's not just art, but just anything, 1 or 2 tips that you'd give to someone if they wanted to be a doctor, if they wanted to be a musician, what would you say to them to do, or what advice would you give?
I got it. I was thinking about it while you were asking.
Okay.
Ultimately, this goes for everything that I learned, is, you know, anywhere, is you never know who is the one that has the answer for you, or the connection, or like, I think I've reached the most success when I asked like the most random people the stuff that I needed or that I was looking for. And then the person who I least expected showed up and said yes, or was the one that I got the job from, or made my website, or like had a dad who bought a painting for thousands of dollars. Like if I stop and try to figure out like who I think the people are that can help me, then I've cut off like the people who actually can. So to never conclude that you think you know who can help you, and to ask anyone. Just keep requesting the things that you want, and then it will show up in the least expected places.
Perfect. I think, to be fair, I think that's probably the best piece of evidence I've heard myself. Just the fact that I think it's just not it is that sort of thing of not judging people by how they look, by how they act, or by the sort of job that they have. Because someone could look like they've got no experience or no relevancy to what you're trying to do, but they could be the best person to go to for advice or for help. So it's just, it's just sort of not cutting people off without actually getting to know them as a person, basically.
Once I put that rule in place, like the example that I wanted to throw in, I was traveling with a friend in Japan, and we went to Okinawa, and we're in a taxi, and the taxi driver, I think this happens a lot with Uber too, but then my friend was like, hey, do you know any places where we can go to listen to like authentic Okinawan music, or like, you know, have a good experience? And then the cab driver was like, yeah, and then drove us to this place, got out, we went to this little bar with women in kimonos playing these little, I don't know, Okinawan banjos, and then the cab driver went on stage and played the banjo and sang a song for us, and then while we ate and drank, and then he drove us back home. And so like,
interesting experience.
Like, it just came full circle. I was so embarrassed at first when my friend was asking the cab driver like these random questions, and then because of that, it led to an amazing night, and we got exactly what we wanted. And so I'm like, dude, just don't to ask for what you want without judgment, and you never know how it's going to turn out. So
I mean, I don't think that sort of thing would happen in England. I don't think if we asked to go take us to a nightclub, that take us, perform, and then take us home, it probably charges about £50,000.
I know.
But I think they're the perfect. I think that's the perfect piece of advice, and the perfect story to go along with it. It's sort of, don't judge people without getting to know them, and ask anyone for help with whatever you need help with until you get what you want.
Yes.
Okay.
Love it. Oh, amazing.
That's it. Well, thank you very much for being on this podcast. I will hopefully keep in contact with you. But yeah, thank you very much for being on the podcast.
I thank you. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you for listening to the podcast with myself and Naomi Duben. Just a quick note, her Instagram is at Naomi Duben Duben. She has Twitter, doesn't really use it, has Facebook, doesn't really use it. So obviously I don't need to shout those out. But it was absolutely fantastic speaking to you, Naomi, about the opportunities that she's had since this 15 minutes of fame, but also just her standard day-to-day life of some of the things that she's gone through, whether it be good experiences, bad experiences, how she decided that the art industry was for her, that dance was obviously another one of her other hobbies, and whether or not art could potentially be a full-time job for the future. So if you did enjoy the podcast, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you would like to be a guest on a podcast, then message me on social media. Let me know what you'd like to talk about, a couple of questions I can ask you. And yeah, we'll try and record something. But until my next podcast, thank you for listening and goodbye.